Hello BookTube. I thought I would return back with AusBooks. It's been a while, but I thought I needed to catch up on some of these authors before I talk about them again to you. You have to excuse my voice still. I was sick recently, but I'm pretty much fine, except my voice just has not recovered fully. It's so annoying and I don't really deserve this. But who are we talking about today to AusBooks? Who's the one that's bringing it all back? Well, we're going to be talking about the only one of the great Australian poets of the 1800s, and that is Henry Kendall here. This is the Australian Classics edition of Henry Kendall. It's got a beautiful painting, you've got the lovely spine, and then like a lovely scenery painting and all that. But yeah, Henry Kendall, what do I know about him? Well, he was born in like the 1830s, 1840s-ish. And he started writing when he was a young man, in journals and newspapers and all that. When he was 18, but he died very young too. He died in his 40s, I think, from tuberculosis. But if the best way I would describe Henry's poetry is that it's kind of like Wordsworth. I know it's a big comparison. I don't think Henry's necessarily at that level, but in terms of just nature writing, or someone like Ralph Waldo Emerson, or someone like that, just very beautiful scenery, animals, nature writing of that stuff. Very slice of life bush descriptions and all that stuff. I have read some Henry Kendall on this channel before for Poetry Thursday. I know it's kind of when I done it, to be honest, but it is there if you want to get a taste of it, or you can just look up Henry Kendall and try some of his poetry, because he is just very lovely. I do think he's still considered one of the greats, even though I think he is overshadowed by like the real titans like Banjo Patterson and Henry Lawson, and maybe his contemporary Adam Lindsay Gordon, who I probably should talk about. But I think I have a bit more of a sweet spot for Henry Kendall, and that's because Henry, in the grand scheme of things, didn't write that much, so he's kind of preserved. It's in the same way that someone like Keats or Shelley is, in a way, because this is literally all we have from him. He did do 3 poetry collections. I'll get them up right here. He wrote Poems and Songs in 1866, Leaves from Australian Forests in 1869, and then Songs from the Mountains in 1880. So he only has that little bit. Again, if you get this edition, there's a very lovely memoir in here. And I wish we had a bit more. I know it's me being a bit greedy, but I do wish Henry wrote more, because he did have a lot of self-doubt in his lifetime, and he did have some friends in very successful places like Charles Harper, who was another big poet just before the generation before, and also Sir Henry Parkes and Louisa Lawson too would also help to preserve his legacy and his writings. And I'm one of those people. I think he's very lovely. Again, if you love nature poetry and all that, you'll absolutely, I think, really enjoy Henry Kendall. He is a very great place to start to get used to like Australian languages and the slang and all that stuff. If you love rhymes, oh my god, he's got some very lovely rhymes in here, as many Australian poets do, because for some reason we just love to rhyme, and I love rhymes, so I appreciate it too. But yeah, I've read some of them on my channel before. You may know like A Death in the Bush or The Bellbirds or some other famous stuff, but he is a very consistent poet in my opinion. And yeah, there's not much to say, because he's just so consistently good. And go give him a try, because he deserves to be read a bit more. But yeah, that's your AusBooks for today. The poetry of Henry Kendall. Have you read anything from Henry? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, go read him, because he's very lovely. I don't know if he's up there with like the major ones. But I would put him up there, like Frank the Poet has been some of my favorite Australian poets. But yeah, that's your AusBooks for today. So thank you so much for watching BookTube, and I will see you next time.